I tried the fasting mimicking diet just in time for the Christmas holidays, just before all the rich foods and delicious drinks and treats come along. And so I'm ready for the holidays. If you'd like to know more about the fasting mimicking diet, then watch this video so you can learn all about what it is, who created it, and how it turned out for me. Hi, welcome to my Midlife Yes Project, where I say yes to a challenge every month, big or small, to enhance my life and help me create my next best life. My channel is called My Next Best Life, and the Midlife Yes Project is just one facet of this channel that I am creating so that I can keep myself accountable to you and to myself in order to do things on a regular basis that help me be more engaged in life. And I think that being more engaged in life will help me to create a better life as I move forward into my retirement years. Hi, my name is Lana, and welcome to My Next Best Life. The challenge I completed for this month was to do the Fasting Mimicking Diet, which is a diet designed by Dr. Valter Longo, who is a cellular biologist and a biogerontologist at the University of Southern California. I didn't know there was such a thing as a biogerontologist, but Dr. Longo does study gerontology. He studies longevity. He is the head of the Longevity Institute in Southern California. He studied centenarians and blue zones all around the world. And through his research, he has come up with this way of eating. He's actually written a book called The Longevity Diet. So basically, it's the longevity diet is what I'm doing. And the fasting mimicking diet is one component of this overall eating lifestyle. The longevity diet is akin to or similar to a Mediterranean diet, or maybe in some ways like a Japanese diet, where you eat a lot of vegetables, mostly plant-based foods, a little bit of fish, especially in your later years, but it's heavily plant-based and based on delicious food and not on the standard American diet, which we all know causes a lot of health problems and leads to a lot of disease. It ages us faster, and we don't want that. Dr. Longo's diet, the longevity diet, the research on that does indicate a lot of health benefits for people, including lowering blood pressure, lowering cholesterol, lowering your blood glucose levels, and lowering inflammation, decreasing your inflammation, and lowering white blood cell count, and lots of things that lead to age-related diseases. Also, it helps you maintain muscle mass while you're losing weight, which is something that I think is very important, especially in midlife 50 plus and beyond women. I'm not a fan of doing crash diets or any other kind of fad diet. I do think that living a long, healthy life does involve lifestyle eating more than diet per se. But I am curious about fasting. And I'm not talking about the time-restricted fasting that's all the rage right now. I have been hearing a lot of information from podcasts that I listen to that time-restricted eating, that kind of fasting, is beneficial for men largely, and men are the ones that the studies and the research have been conducted on. We know that women's bodies are very understudied and they're more complicated than men's bodies, and we just have different needs. So if you are doing time-restricted fasts, please do your research and make sure that it is right for you. I have been to a nutritionist, and she has told me that I need to eat breakfast, that it's a good idea to eat breakfast. And so that's what I'm doing, because it does give me energy, helps me sustain my energy through the day, and it gives my metabolism a boost. Dr. Longo does advocate for some time-restricted eating, but his window of eating is 12 hours. So it's, you're just not eating round the clock. So it's not that hard to eat within a 12-hour window. In completing the fasting mimicking diet, that involves 5 days of somewhat fasting. It's fasting mimicking, meaning that your body thinks that you're going into fast mode, and it, because of that, it will perform different functions such as attacking damaged cells and getting rid of those damaged cells. Dr. Longo calls that autophagy or autophagy. I've heard it pronounced different ways, so I'm not sure. I will make sure that that is on the screen so you can look that word up for yourself and understand what it means. But basically, if you're killing off some damaged cells that could maybe one day lead to problems for your health, then I think that's a good thing. The fast also helps to reset your metabolism and metabolic systems in your body, and that includes losing a small percentage of body fat each time. So what happens is that you spend about 5 days, you spend like a 1 day preparing for the fast. And the days leading up to the fast, you should still be eating healthy. You shouldn't be just like binge eating and junk food eating and getting all that in before you embark on something like this. You should be eating healthfully most of the time anyway. So get your vegetables in and your nutrients and all of that good stuff before you start a fast. Then when the time comes for the fast, you spend 1 day cutting back quite a bit on your calories, and then you spend the next 2 to 5 days on a much more restricted calorie intake. You do still take in some nutrients, but your body thinks that you're in starvation mode, basically. And then you spend a couple days at the end refeeding yourself, and then that is basically the fasting mimicking diet. So Dr. Longo has products that you can purchase. He has a line of products called Prolong, and that's great. It makes it easy. You just eat what comes in the package. But I think it's a little expensive for me. And because I'm approaching retirement and I'm a DIY kind of gal, I want to make sure that I do this on a much more budget-friendly way. So I designed some recipes that are similar, and I ate the snacks that are similar to what he has described, and I think it worked very well. One of the substitutions I made was olives. I substituted avocados for olives because I don't really like olives. I like most food. I like most things, but olives is one of the things that I don't really care for. I mean, if it's on my pizza, I'll eat it, but just to eat olives on their own, I just can't imagine doing that. So the point of eating the olives is to get some healthy vegetable fat into your body. And so avocados substituted that, I think, very well. So I made about 6 different recipes for vegetarian plant-based soups, which are low fat and no sugar, low sodium, and those recipes are available in my description. I will share that with you happily. I made 6 different recipes so that I would have some variety, but I didn't actually make the 6 different soups. I only made 3 of the recipes because batch cooking. I batch cooked on a Sunday, and I made 3 different full pots of soup, and I felt like that was enough. So I don't really love cooking, so I wasn't going to make 6 different soups. My goodness. So, but I do have different recipes so that the next time I do the fast, I can have some different choices. I did like making the soups, though. I did like having the soups ready to go. That was a great thing because my lunches were easy. I just filled a small mason jar, which was just about 500 ml size, or about 2 cups. And that was my lunch every day for work. So that was easy. And then I came home and I would have 2 more cups, or about 500 mils of soup for dinner. And it was nice because I walked in the door from work and I knew what I was going to have. I had a choice of 3 soups, 1 of 3 soups, and that was dinner. I just had to reheat it, and there was no bread or rolls or crackers or sprinkled cheese or anything extra like that put on, or even hot sauce. I would have liked to have had some hot sauce, especially with the Thai soup recipe I made. I do like a little bit of spice, but I read the label and there is sugar in sriracha, so I did not put that on, because the idea is that you have low sugar, low animal fat, low sodium, low protein, and all of those things, so that your body thinks that it's fasting. You're not giving it anything to burn instead of your body fat. I think if I were to remake the recipes, I might add maybe some chili peppers or something like that to make it a little more spicy. So, but the recipes I've made are not really very spicy. So if you don't like spicy food, you can make the recipes as they are. And if you do like spice, you can add some more seasonings in it that make it more flavorful for your taste. One of the things I noticed while I was completing this fast is just how much I wanted to reach for snacks. I was hungry, especially the couple of days, but your body does get used to the hunger. And so you don't really need to eat as much as we typically eat in a day. But I noticed at work, there would be snacks available, or I'd bring snacks in my lunch kit, and just how much I would grab something to snack, a little piece of cheese or some crackers or a little of this, a little of that. It's amazing how much I would just snack on, and unnecessary calories, not really hungry, just more out of habit, more out of being bored, I guess. So that was interesting to learn that behavior about myself. Also, I found that I really missed my morning cup of tea with milk. Here's a cup of tea. I'm drinking some right now. I do like black tea with milk. This is part of my family, our culture, how we've always, started our day with tea and milk, and after dinner and that kind of thing. I do really like tea with milk. I like green tea as well. And I like herbal teas like mint and chamomile. So you're free to have as much black coffee or black teas and herbal teas as you like, but not with milk. And I missed that. So that's one of the biggest things that I missed. I also mentally thought that I missed cheese, because I do eat a lot of cheese. And I realized how much cheese I eat. I put cheese on a lot of things, on my eggs, my potatoes, different casseroles, my pastas, my even rice dishes, I'll put cheese on in some cases. So like a broccoli cheese rice thing or something. And I eat a lot of cheese, and that is probably, cheese isn't necessarily bad for you on your own, but overconsumption of anything isn't good for you. So I am a vegetarian. I did not miss meat. I'm used to not eating meat, but I did miss my dairy products. However, when the fast was over, I found that my cravings for things were really reduced. I didn't necessarily go back to having cheese a lot. I didn't necessarily need sweets anymore, or fruit. The cravings for those kinds of things was gone. I have yet to have a bag of chips, or a cookie or anything like that. I'm not as interested, because I seem to have broken that craving pattern and those habitual patterns of reaching for something to snack on. That's a big win in my mind. However, I did immediately go back to having my black tea with milk in the morning. That's what I really like. Another interesting thing that happened while I was doing the fast was how much energy I still had. I thought I would feel much more weak, but I wasn't. I wasn't as weak or tired. I was tired at night, but I am anyways. I'm a kindergarten teacher, so I do not have late nights. I go to bed pretty early during the school year, and that's normal. So I didn't notice a big change in my sleep or my tiredness level, and I didn't feel very weak or dizzy. So that's okay. I didn't exercise, however. I didn't try to use any extra energy. Just played with my dog, throwing the ball around and that kind of thing, a little bit outside, playing with the kids outside, nothing too strenuous. I do want to mention that one of the advantages of doing this fast, a side benefit that I wasn't really counting on, was that I really saved on my grocery bill. That's a huge advantage today with the way inflation has made everything so expensive. So I do eat vegetarian most of the time, so I don't spend money on a lot of animal products. But even so, I noticed that things were much more affordable. My week of groceries was much more affordable. So that's a win. If I do it once a month, that's going to really cut down my monthly budget for food. So I lost about 6 pounds, and I lost a couple point percentages of body fat. My scale will tell me my BMI and my body fat percentage, as well as my pounds. And I'm glad to say I did lose some of that. So that's an obvious benefit to doing this kind of thing. My clothes felt better, and I generally feel lighter after all. It's been over a week since I've done the fast, and my body fat and my pounds are still down, although I did put a couple pounds back on, which is to be expected. So from this point on, I'm going to continue following the longevity part of the diet, eating plant-based as much as possible, and reducing my cheese intake now that I realize just how much I consume, and sticking only to the really high percentage of dark chocolate. I like 85% and above, which is what I consider to be a treat. However, I will still give myself the permission to have cake on my birthday and pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving and Christmas, or whenever an occasion allows for a little treat. I will certainly give myself permission. I'm not into denying myself anything. I'm building my next best life, and my next best life includes having yummy things to eat. But I'm going to do the fast every month or so for the next few months until I get my belly fat down more to where it's a healthier level. Being a menopausal woman, that's a very difficult thing to do. And I find that the fasting mimicking diet is a successful way to attack that belly fat. In the description, I will include a link to my recipes, how I tracked my progress, and what the plan involved, Dr. Longo's book and website. I will link all those things in the description so that if you want to give this a try, if you want to say yes to the fasting mimicking diet, and you want to learn more about the benefits and Dr. Longo's research, please check out the description and let me know how it works out for you. I'd love to hear what your results are. If you've tried this kind of thing before, or if you'd like to try it now, just let me know. I'd love to hear. I'd love to engage with people.